Right, introducing my next guest on my radio programs and podcasts. Taking time out of his schedule, I have a producer, Colin Day, is in the studio right here, right now, to chat about his latest project. Glad of your company on today's program, Colin, and welcome. How are you today?
Oh, great. Thanks for having me on, Danny. It's good of you.
Great. And I first found out about you in the local newspaper, and I thought it'd be nice to just invite you on. But I just wanted to give the opportunity over to you, really. Just tell me briefly about yourself, where you're currently based in the world, your musical background, and any early musical memories, picking up your first musical instrument and your introduction to music.
Yeah. Well, I'm a local lad from Worcester originally, settled down in Bromsgrove now. Um, we weren't an especially sort of musical family, but my earliest memory of anything is being a toddler and listening to a big old valve radio that my folks used to keep on in the living room, and hearing the hits of the day like Helen Shapiro and Adam Faith, and learning the words to them. And my folks were very good. They weren't musical themselves, but if I showed any interest in any instrument, they were very encouraging. So I tried drums for a while and clarinet and guitar, but never really mastered any of them.
Mm.
Um, but I learned enough to become a jingle writer. And so after a short career as a DJ, I started writing and producing jingles. That's some decades ago now. And I'd never written anything longer than 30 seconds, really. But I suppose about 10 years ago, the jingles side of things was starting to slow down a little bit, but I'm still noodling away on the guitar most nights. And one night, my wife, Emma, challenged me to write a song. She said, Bet you could write a song. And I thought, well, no, hang on. Songwriting is something that other people do. But she kept sort of playfully sort of goading me into it, if you like. So I took up the challenge and I wrote her a song one Christmas. And that was the start of my journey into the album project.
And one of the reasons I invited you on my show is because you have a brand new AI assisted fantasy soul album. If I'm correct, it's called Riker Up. And where did the inspiration from writing these songs come about? Like who were some of the artists who inspired you with the styles of music in putting this collection together?
Well, I've been a long time devotee of soul music. I would say that was my first love, really. I fell for soul music when I was about 12 years old, 1970. And it's been a passion of mine ever since. So when I wrote my first private love song for my wife, Emma, I naturally kind of wrote in the style that I enjoyed, and that's 1960s soul.
Ah,
And yeah, I really enjoyed the process. As you can imagine, my wife enjoyed having a love song written for her. And so it just became a thing. And I just kept writing because I enjoyed the process. But I never had any intention of doing anything at all with the songs. I just did it for private enjoyment, if you
mm.
like.
And then back in the day, what Northern soul songs have been your favorite?
Oh, that's almost too many to
Mm.
mention. I suppose Linda Jones, I Just Can't Live My Life. Um, Pretty much anything by Jackie Wilson, Major Lance, people like that. You know, there are about 80,000 Northern Soul songs to enjoy. And yeah, I do like a lot of them.
Mm. And with this album as well, what's the feedback been like, especially with like, the younger generation? Do you feel this will really introduce the listener to a new era of music and appreciate it?
Well, I'm not out to start a sort of genre or a movement. The feedback has been absolutely wonderful. I think the reaction broadly sort of falls into two camps, or three camps, I could say. There are those who think AI has no place in the world of music at all, and it's the work of the devil, and they'll pass it by, and that's fine. And I completely respect that opinion. And then there are those who say, "Oh, I don't care how it's made. Bring it on. Let's have more of it." And then there's a big old camp in the middle who are a bit puzzled about the whole AI thing, but tend to say something like, "Yeah, but it ain't bad actually, is it?" So the album's been selling well, and the feedback that we've been
Mm.
getting from DJs and people has been nothing short of brilliant.
That's good to hear. And because, like, putting together an album can be quite time consuming. Did you feel with AI, it kind of sped up the process?
Well, I don't know about that. The songwriting took a long time because, the AI is involved with the production process, but each of the songs was written in the traditional way with me
Mm.
sort of sat at a guitar and bashing them out. And as I say, a lot of these songs have been in my locker for years. Um, is using AI tools, is it quicker than using traditional instrumentation and session musicians? Well, my productions are a mixture of the two anyway, so they're not completely AI produced. All the vocals are. Occasionally we do backing vocals with real humans, but the vocals and much of the instrumentation comes out of the computer, which is mind blowing. Now, sometimes that can be a quick process, but honestly, Danny, if you ever want to lose a weekend, start with an idea at tea time on Friday. The next thing you know, it's the early hours of
Mm.
Sunday morning, and maybe you've got 30 seconds that you can play with. So it can be very time consuming, but great fun when you love what you do.
Very interesting. So the pre-production process, just as long as it would normally take.
Yes, I suppose so. It's a fantastic tool, the AI
Mm.
software, because it allows us to, well, in my case, recreate the sounds of the 1960s. And I think anybody with half an ear for music uh, can you can just tell, can't you, when a record was made in the 50s, you could probably pick out one from the 60s or say, that sounds like one from the 70s. It has a particular vibe. It's the way the players played, it's the way the studios were set up, and it was the technology that they used. And we've lost that, but we
Mm.
can now get it back with these AI tools.
Mm.
And I think that's really exciting.
Mm. And one of the other major kind of factors of selling records is the artwork as well. Was the artwork for the cover CD generated by AI? Was that personally made, or you made it yourself?
No, that was done the old school way, and I've got to say a big thank you to Jaffa at a company called The Unknown for doing the fantastic design on the front cover. I had very little to do with that.
And with your new album as well, is it just available on streaming platforms for now, or were you looking
It's
at
on.
releasing on vinyl?
Yes, it's got a vinyl release
Oh.
already. Leading up to the album, we had 6 sold out singles on vinyl, each of which sold out on pre order, so even before the release date. The album is on vinyl 12-inch, also on CD, and all the streaming and download platforms. Yeah, it's out there.
Shall we chat about some of the tracks on there? The album opens up, if I understand rightly, "We Were Lovers Before,"
Yes.
and did you feel this was a perfect starter for the album? Break the listener
Yeah.
in.
Well, it's been one of the sold out singles, and it had a lot of really good feedback. A lot of DJs got behind it. So it seemed like a natural beginning. And also, lyrically, it's a song which I wrote about the night that me and Emma met. So logically, that seemed like a good place for the album to
Mm.
start.
And of course, why did it take so long? I understand that one is personal for you as well.
Yeah, well, they're all personal. I wrote every line of every song as a personal
Mm.
love letter to the missus. So, yeah, why did it take so long till the night that we met?
Mm.
Yeah.
And are there any other tracks on the album you feel stand out also as well?
Oh, that's asking if which of your children are your favorite. But if I had to pick one, it's a slightly slower tempo song, which maybe doesn't quite fit into the Northern Soul template, if you like. And that's a song called You and Me, Why Can't It Be? Now, I like that song because it's the closest I've come to writing a simple song, which might kind of sound like an odd thing to say, but believe me, writing a simple song is, for a songwriter, is probably the hardest
Mm.
challenge you can set yourself.
And when you're writing songs, do you like to write the lyrics first or the music afterwards, or do you just go with the flow?
It usually happens both at once, and I write in an illogical way, really, because most people will tell you to know where your song is going before you start it, and start with the chorus or make sure you've got the title. I don't do that. I tend to start with the first words of the first verse and then see where it goes. But yeah, the music and lyrics usually come to me
Mm,
all at once, and then it's just hard work.
mm,
I often say it's like playing Tetris with words,
mm.
trying to get them on in just the right order.
Like the musical arrangement.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you mentioned, yeah, sorry, you
No,
mentioned the the time AI. There's no time limit when creating the album with AI, and it's a good tool you mentioned. Did you feel it's a good asset for creativity as well? If an artist or a lyricist is struggling, with a mind block, does it give them inspiration if they're trying to create new ideas?
absolutely. These AI systems have learnt music in the same way that all musicians learn by listening to other musicians. Like the example I often use is like the Beatles, they were inspired by Little Richard, the Everly Brothers, Chet Atkins, uh, Motown sounds, and they kind of modged it all together and came up with their own thing. So the advantage that these software systems have is they've listened to everything and discovered that, as we all know, music is based on patterns. And so the software has recognized these patterns and it recombines them in all sorts of interesting ways. But to your question, does it inspire creativity? It's doing it now. I have two or three contacts in Nashville, and I'm told that the songwriters in Nashville are all over this tool because it can show you, interesting paths that you might not have thought of taking. So even for songwriters who then go on to produce their music in the more traditional way, they're still using the AI to spark new ideas.
Because we are seeing now AI, it's been around for some time, bring, holograms of artists, whether they're living or deceased, to the stage, like
Yeah.
the ABBA uh, hologram musical in London is bringing so much like revenue to the UK. Where do you see AI in the live scene side of things?
Well, I'm no expert on AI, but I know that these tools will only get better, and that we're really just at the foothills. They've improved so much in the 18 months or so that I've been using them, and to think that we're just at the beginning is is mind blowing. And I think the people are rightly concerned about the effect of AI and what it might mean for everyday life, and I think especially for the creative arts. So it's something that I keep a close eye on, and I think it's scary but also exciting in equal
Hmm.
measure.
So there's positives and there's some kind of reservations at the same time. It's nice to hear both contrasts.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, and yeah.
And you, of course, you're a producer, a recording artist. Do you get a chance to perform your music to the general public?
Well, I don't think the general public would pay to see to hear my squawky voice. That's why one of the reasons when I told my wife, "Yeah, okay, I'll write a song for you," I made two conditions. I said, number one, it doesn't have to be a modern song, partly because I couldn't write a modern song if I tried. But number two, that I never have to play or sing this to anybody else other than her. So that turned out to be ironic now that the songs are out there being shared with the world. But no, I don't think people would be queuing up to hear my
Mm.
voice anytime
Oh,
soon.
so no gigs coming up at the moment.
No,
Just focusing on getting the record out on for people to listen on, playlists and radio and streamer platforms.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Colin Day, it's been really interesting speaking with you on today's feature. I just want to say thank you for answering my questions. And your new album, Riker Up, is out, available on good outlets.
Thank you. Yes, I've been dying to say this. Available in all good record shops.
And where's best for people to follow you on social media, or if you have a link?
Yes, just do a Google search for Riker Records. That's Rikeer, and you'll find links to socials, Instagram, and anyway.
It's a pleasure speaking with you, Colin Day, on today's show, live from his studio in
Thank you
Worcestershire.
very much, Danny.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.